Hey riders, I'm back. Back for another Muckers World Wide event. Got to apologize to my Muckers friends. It's been, I think I've missed the last two races, last Tuesday and the Thursday before. Uh, God, it feels even longer than that. Did I miss the Tuesday before that as well? Yeah, just been super busy, in and out of the house kind of thing all day. Just having a hard time to get that 12 o'clock slot for me. Excuse me, I'm just trying to clear my throat here. Bit of a tickle. So today we championship race series, Challenge Wanaka in New Zealand, 40 kilometers long. Let's just have a quick peek over at our maps here. And you can see we are currently in New Zealand. We are on the South Island here. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Now, I'm not sure if this is New Zealand or Mordor, to be honest, but I guess they probably would have done some filming locations down here. Yep, so what's funny about this route today is I wanted to get my workouts done for the week. You know, there's that thing where you do 2 workouts a week and you get 1,500 bonus coins. If you're not aware of that, great little workouts. I'm really enjoying the workout features. I did like a fat burner one today, and I forget what the other ones I did earlier in the week, but yeah, 1,500 coins, can't complain. I'm working towards the giant propel at the moment. Let's sit back here into the app itself. There was a quick update this morning. I think it's 3.22. I think it was just a bunch of hot fixes, things like that. So at the moment we have 102 riders, 40-kilometer route, 447 meters of climbing. I'm going to guess for the big guns this should be around an hour. What do you think? Even with that climbing, there's some of them are strong enough they will be able to power along. Maybe a touch over an hour, I'm guessing. Hey, and something I wanted to talk about here. I've noticed some comments, maybe it was on the Facebook page, you know, people are saying, well, why doesn't the profile look the same on what I see on the bottom of the screen in the map, like this part we're talking about here? Well, this folks here, this is called vertical exaggeration, from my mapping days as a geologist. Basically, you're exaggerating the vertical features so that they don't get hidden away by the horizontal features. So you got to realize that from left to right, we're representing 40 kilometers of distance. Well, we all know there's no mountain that's 40 kilometers high, right? These are like just going to be little bumps. If we were to stretch this map fully out, like 40 kilometers long, these bumps would barely even show. They would just be like little tiny moles, little pimples along the course. But this is how you represent it. You have to put some vertical exaggeration in to say, yes, there is a bump at some point there. Yeah, so we're getting ready to go in here, folks. I'm glad the watch button's there now. I love that. That just came out, I think, the last week or so. There's been a couple of quick little hotfix updates here, which is awesome by Rouvy. Let's get into the start shoot here. Yeah, so like if you look at the bottom now, you're going to think, well, this doesn't look like the other profile. That's because just slightly different vertical exaggeration on this profile at the bottom. 30 seconds to go. I can see right away, I'd had a quick peek before. All the usuals are here. It's great to see everyone. So yeah, you're going to use that vertical exaggeration to show hills. It's kind of like when you look at a map, and you know, it'll say 3% average gradient over 30 kilometers, and you're like, oh, whip-de-doo, that's nothing. And then what you find out that basically all the climbing's in a 1 kilometer section. They're trying to show that, and you can do that using vertical exaggeration. So let's see who we got here today. I can see names I know already. Hensbergen. Everyone's right off the rip. Andy Emo. Now, I think what I've heard from my inside sources, aka Bashak, Andy's kind of was one in the past, used to be a huge rider on Rouvy, and I think is making a bit of a comeback right now. Here's Elenio 79 marking Andy. Perfect. Look at this. Just rolls on by, lets off the power, saying, hey, I'm right here. You're not getting anywhere. Carol Susik coming up. Got Hensbergen right there as well. Gil Matteo. L. Rowland. Now, I wonder today if this is a course that's going to suit L. Rowland better. I've seen L. Rowland hang all the way with these characters before on a much flatter profile. I think it was, Might have been that Barcelona race way back when. But anyway, could be wrong. I'm not even sure if it was a Muckers race, to be honest with you. Some of the past races have been pretty punchy with the climbing, so let's see if he hangs in there today. Yeah, so here's our typical crew up front. Luca, Niels Brenham's right up at the front here today. Look at this pack. Remember, let's do our first map mode. Oh, wow, look at that. I was just about to say the first map mode load-in is always slow, but not today. Maybe that was fixed, a hot fix. I'm noticing Bear Remy here as well. Another contender. Peter Olgett, I've been seeing Peter around a lot lately. I covered the Amstel Gold race a couple weeks back. Saw Peter. I saw four of the Olgetts there. Finally figured out that Keith Olgett is Keith Aitchison, which I did know at the time, but I didn't want to call out his name change on the fly. Erland's here. I watched Erland at the Wollonga race. Believe top 5 finish for Erland at that one. Here's Grosjean. Looking good as usual. Decked out in the Muckers gear. Kay Johannesson. Pretty sure I've seen this rider before too. Tom's right here as well. Shout out to Tom. Thanks for the comment on the YouTube channel. Svard. Keith Olgett. Yeah, representing, still in his Christmas gear. Wonder where the Santa Claus beard is. We've got Hal Air coming up. Hey Hal, good to see you. HJ 2010. I know I've seen this character a lot too. Stefan Schmidt, Grepp, Tranberg, Andy Up, Rubberburn Mark. I think it was the last race too I covered. I think it was a Thursday race. Rubberburn Mark was like right at the front, top 10 rider, that's for sure. Just going to see how the strengths and weaknesses of the riders play out on these different courses. Kind of like learning all this on the fly. Hey, here's Rocket Roy and Scriptnet. Scriptnet pushing hard to the front. Looks like Scriptnet's trying to bridge up away from Denny 44 at the moment. Trying to catch on with Grepp. Let's have a look at that. There's a few, it's hard to tell right now, but there are a few definite breaks happening already. Let's do the obligatory how many riders got off the chute. It's always interesting to see. We're always going to find one or two broken down right in the chute. Yeah, it looks like we got 89 riders out there. You're always going to find a couple that are that disconnect right away. Got a couple here. Bergholtz is cruising along with TB Ribby, who I've seen before. Tom's broken down there. Let's move up here. Oh, some new names for me here. The brand new names. Muckers is bringing a lot of new people here. Jay Kinsey. Riders always with Muckers. Must be perfect time for them. 7 Zoltan 9. Another new name for me. Tord Munter. Here's Nakan, seen before. Stephen. Ludford. Farnham. Cycling Club. Jeff 65. Good to see you, Jeff. Everyone's tooling along here doing their thing. Rouvy Brian, always here as well. Wyverns. I wonder why Wyverns are so far back today. Obviously doing a different ride plan today. Oh, we got a ton of riders here on screen. Look at this. We got like 5 or 6 here and then probably like another 7 or 8 up front. Great turnout. Dave 1969, another one. Actually, this looks like another no one. Yeah, another no one. Okay, interesting. Here's Kolofsky. Doing his thing with the draft man. We've got NMS 007. Draft man. Yep, hanging on the back. Draft man. Good job. Get that draft. Hannibal von Tonnes. That's an interesting name. Never seen this rider before. Igor. I just saw Mick. Okay, let's get to the front and see how things are breaking out up front. Yep, usual crew. Ooh, Lucas pushing hard. 7.5 watts per kilo off the front on these little rollers. Yeah, so I was saying earlier, this was a good course for me because I loaded up my machine and I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this little fat burner workout. Didn't even have to download the video because here it is. Gil Matteo, not messing around here, marking Luca at the moment. Just comes kind of rolling by. Who else is rolling by here? Oh, Carol's coming by too. Probably just carrying some speed. past Luca, or are they going to push hard now? There are a couple of bumps coming. There's actually a good little bump coming up in the distance here. Whoa, that truck passed us a little close, didn't it? That guy with the boat trailer and that guy driving the, I guess it would be like a grain truck or something. So let's take a look at the group here. Is this the usual crew? Yeah, Elenio, Gil Matteo, Hensbergen, Bear Remy, Niels Brenham right at the front today. And Grosjean, Andy Emo. Luca yeah, Luca's got a bunch up here with him today. There's 11 riders in the front group. More than usual. And again, there's L. Rowland. Maybe this kind of terrain suits L. Rowland better. Just speculating here. Erland Sundstrom, second place at the moment. Let's see how the gaps are opening behind us. Still a pretty steady chain of people. People just off the edge of the map here. This is when I want to... I feel like right-clicking my mouse and rotating the screen, but you can't. Okay, zipping back. What do we got here? So 10th place, 11th place Andy Emo, just falling off the back a little bit. Keith Oldget's coming up to him. They can probably work together. And with Peter as well. So we got 2 Oldgets coming up on Andy. Hopefully they can all walk together as a little 3-rider pack. Oh, Stefan Schmidt is there as well. Rubberman Mark, they're all there. They could have like a good group of 6 or 7 riders right away. K. Johansson, Svard, HJ 2010, Tranberg. Let's make our way down to see what we can see. Andy up, good to see you. And we got Yaya Recchi chasing Andy just up the hill here. Salvatore. Have I seen Salvatore before? I don't think I have. Can I see the whole name here? I can't see it on the top of the screen. Salvatore Caruso. I think I have seen this name before. Riding with Grep. Tom just behind them. Denny, new name to me. Right in there with a bunch of really good riders here. We got Scripnet right there as well. Kermit's doing a good job today. Liba Janosek. I know I've seen this rider before too. Positive. Not every race. I think maybe they just show up to the occasional Muckers race. Hellcat, I believe this is Steven. Steve? Yes, Steve. Motoring right along. I think Steve's a big power number kind of guy. Probably more my size. Who's this? Celestina J. I've never seen this rider before either. Yeah, it's great to see these new riders. Boogie Bill. I've seen Boogie Bill before. Rolling right along. And there's Silly Sill. Silly Sill. 4 watts per kilo at the moment. Very strong rider. Yeah, she's good on the hills too. Like some of these smaller riders, it's so hard to match them. Gaytam 42. I want to say I haven't seen this rider before as well, but I know I have. Just, probably quite a few races ago. Let's just keep cruising down. Hun Wild Weasel. Yeah, brand new name to me. We got Oni D. Hey, here's a rider I know. So this is Ratim. I think one time I called him Rat I Am. Yesterday I kind of spent over 2 hours on the bike. I think it was about 11-click warm-up. Sorry, 11-click ride somewhere in Italy, some Trento cycle pathway. And then I sat on the bike and just kept warming up for I believe it was 11 o'clock start, the Czech Stage 5, the Letap Czech Stage 5 race. And Ratim was in there. A very good rider too. We kind of rode all the way downhill together. I did have my own personal domestique for that race, aka Bashak, pulling me along, probably making me ride a little bit harder than what I wanted to, because I knew after that it was only a 21-kilometer thing, but it's kind of like downhill half the way and then uphill all the rest. After that, I'd planned another route at Verano Lake to crank out like over 60K for the day. Maybe trying to work on endurance a little bit more. So that race actually really beat me up. I just kind of was fried by the end of it. And then as soon as I was done, I jumped straight into the Verano Lake. I actually really like that ride. Pretty flat. It's kind of downhill, flattish. And surprising the number of riders that are on it. Hey, here's Sly Fly. Last weekend at the Buttertubs Pass race, we had Mrs. Fly come out, Smile Fly, and she did a fantastic job at the Team GRC short race, Sunday short race. Great to see so many newish riders coming out. The women, the ladies participating in these events. Yeah, it's really cool to see. And I like to follow all these people to the end. Here's a new name, Marshall B. Marshall B's kind of riding solo at the moment. That's not true. Squallowed LLP's right behind them. So groups are going to break out and form. I'm looking for the mucker right now. Kin Kwan, seen this name a lot. A Wool. Positive I know this name too. I feel like here's Kolofsky. Let's just focus on Kolofsky so I can think about what I'm talking about here. Yeah, I feel like the Muckers group itself is like just a bunch of friends to me. We've had so much support from a lot of the Muckers joining in the Team GRC events. You know, we don't ride as often as an organized group. That's going to change in the future, obviously. Maybe do some group rides. And, you know, we're probably all like the Muckers. There's someone in our group riding every day. Probably most people are riding 6 days a week. I'm probably the laziest. I like a good 20 to 30 minutes all-out effort and then just shut her down. And that's why I said yesterday, I'm like, you know what? If someone said, hey, let's go for a 3-hour ride, I don't know if I could actually do it at this point. So I'm going to force myself to do it by doing these longer rides. Cat's out of the bag. I'm going to try to start doing the brevet stuff, the virtual brevets. That's put on by Graham Love. Hey, and we're in his home country as well, in New Zealand. So Graham's put all that work into filming all those routes, maintaining the website, the Facebook page. It's so much work for him. And there's people out there doing these events. It's just a different style of riding. So, you know, and that's something I've got to learn. I can't ride at 3 watts per kilo all the way for that long. I mean, do I just start out really easy and just pace myself the whole way? What is that number? Is it like 60, 70% of your FTP? I'm going to have to ask the people in my group. But again, going back to the Muckers, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for jumping into the Discord, some of you, hanging out with us, showing up for our Sunday short races. Just something different that we like to do. Kolofsky doing good here. And also another little release. Team GRC just got official status. I am actually fist pumping the air right now. And that comes from the support of everyone in the Rouvy community. We're just doing our little thing and happy to watch others do theirs. Okay, moving on here. Otero 22. Here he is. Here's Neil. Neil's got himself in a great group here. It's got Dave, Raffo, Rouvy Brian, Nakon's just ahead. Neil's pushing up. He knows there's a gap ahead of him. He wants to catch on Nakon's wheel here. This is a nice draft here for Neil. I'm going to pull him back. Is he just going to blow right by him? Just blow right by him. Neil probably knows he's on camera right now. Yeah, good job, Neil. Yeah, like look at this here. Wyvern's perennial top 10 racer since I've been watching Muckers. Wyverns is not where they should be from what I've learned about them. This is not a good or bad thing. I'm just speculating. Wyverns is taking it easy. Maybe Wyverns is coming back from a little bit of, a little bit of a flu, a little bit of a sickness, not feeling great. You never really know why people ride differently, right? I'm always out there trying to think, why is this person so strong today, or why am I so weak? And it's just, you don't know. You don't know that next week, well, not next week, yeah, next Sunday, I'm off to Vegas for 5 days, and I'm going to come back with my FTP probably down 100 watts, for all I know. That's what it feels like when you come back, right? Let's go back to the front. Hey, this is so good to see. Like, I mean, L. Rowland, right at the front. Is this L. Rowland's type of course? Is, courses for horses, right? You know the old saying. Yeah, L. Rowland, right there. This is, yeah, I love this. So maybe they are more of a flatland type rider. The only thing I can say about that, though, this is quite the little punchy little course. There's lots of little ups and downs. What kind of riding suits them? And I might have said it in the past, and I like to rant and ramble. These kinds of courses I find to be quite difficult. These little ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. It's not a ton of climbing. I'd rather go out and climb like the Stelvio or something, just 21 kilometers, 7% gradient. Just let me do my thing. Versus this. I find these to be very hard, this up and down. I never really get into a groove. But I have learned in the past too. I've got a video that's just sitting on the back burner forever. I think I might have said this too. It's not a big secret. Cellaronda. I did that route on Rouvy. Just a little. I bet you it was back in October or November. I've edited the video all up. What a fantastic route that is. And I wasn't really sure if I'd do well at it or not. I mean, I just did it myself with the ghost friends. And I actually found it to be quite easy. You've got 5 climbs to do. I think it's about 1,850 meters of climbing, I believe. And the climbs, you just chug away. You know what you're going to expect. And then you just bomb downhill. Completely recover like 100%. Your heart rate will be back to where you started at. Start the next climb. Rinse and repeat 5 times, right? Really cool route. Definitely a bucket list ride in the real world, so why not have it on Rouvy too? I think it's a really good event. I would love to see the full Maratona Dolomites on Rouvy. I think there might be a map version of it. I don't think there's a full video. I could be totally wrong on that. I'm going to have a look after this here. Let's take a look at the front group again here. Carol, Gil, Elenio, Erland. Now again, Erland's... I learned from the Wollonga route that Erland's a hitter right at the front, so this doesn't surprise me. Hinsbergen's there, L. Roland, Luca, Keith Old Git, just trying to bridge on. He's pushing hard to get across that gap. We did have 11 riders in the front group earlier. I think Andy Emo got left out the back, and I'm not sure if Grosjean was there or not. Okay, this is good here. Keith and Andy getting together. Grosjean's coming up. Give a little extra firepower to Keith. Do these 3 have the ability to get back on the back? We're starting some climbing now, so I'm expecting the climbers at the front. Elenio 79 should probably want to take a little tear here. Now, I missed last week's race, and I'm completely phased out as to what was going on. I should have read Neil's race reports that he puts on Facebook every week. They're also at his website, so check that out, folks. Muckers World Wide. You just type that in, you'll find the website. Tons of good stuff on there. Lots of good comments. So I wonder if they're going to mark each other. Like Elenio 79, I think, is the real deal climber here. And I think it was them too that walk. Yeah, I think it was Elenio 79 that just kind of like they allowed him to just walk away on a few races. He just kind of did his 6.5, 7 watts per kilo thing and just vanished. Luca keeping a good eye on the front. Gil Matteo is here. Carol Susik is quite racy. I think it was Carol that did really, really well on Wollonga. Like really well. I believe Elenio got away, and then it was Gil Matteo and Carol together. So again, must be just the type of course. It could be just training conditions too. Like I don't know these people personally. You don't know what their life obligations are, work commitments, kids, families, all those things. You miss a few days. Vegas trips like me. Whenever I seem to get in shape, my wife books me on the trip. So we got the Vegas trip coming up next Sunday, Feb 18th to the 22nd. Going to stay just a tiny bit off strip. We're going to go check out the Palms this time. We got this fantastic like condo suite. The Palms is like due west of Bellagio. We stayed on the strip a lot, and sometimes it gets overwhelming. Check this out. Hinsbergen moving to the front here too. Everyone's marking each other really well here today. So yeah, we're staying at the Palms. Got a couple of meetups with people there. Remember my Power Trip concert I went to back in October? That was the big trip. That was October 6th through 8th. So we were out in Palm Desert. Every day was above 40 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is, American friends. I'm going to guess it's 110 or something. And, you know, at night during concert time, 8, 9 o'clock at night, it was still almost that hot. Like just sweltering, but what a great trip. 6 bands. Let's have a little flashback to that. Iron Maiden, night 1, followed up with Guns N' Roses. That was Friday night. Saturday night was Judas Priest, followed up AC/DC. Sunday night, Tool, like musical masters, those guys, and Metallica. What a great trip. I loved it so much. My security strap band I have put on, it's got like a chip in it to scan your way in. It says the Power Trip on it. I have yet to take it off. Look at this. Elenio's going on a break, folks. I'm busy rambling as usual, and Elenio's pushed away. See, Gil Mattio's reacting. I saw some 7 watts per kilo. Look at Luca, 8 watts per kilo here. This could be a pivotal moment in the race right now, folks. Elenio 79 has the ability on these uphills to slowly just walk away from these other hitters. Elenio is not the lightweight climber either. Just looking at the numbers here as they're on screen, Elenio's got to be right around 70 kilos. Not like a sub 60 kilo rider, 60 kilos. Like, to me, those are ultra lightweights. Elenio is just hammered down. Oh, Gil Mattio's came back though. They're pulling it back. Yeah, I didn't see them coming back there. They probably, once they got over the hill, they probably all swoop down. So I think that was just a little dig, a little test by Elenio. Take a look up the course, folks. So we're at kilometer 16 right now. If you take a look on the bottom of the screen here, take a look at these bumps here. These could be really critical. This bump here, I believe, and perhaps this guy here, because if Elenio can put that gap into them there again, they might be able to get away again. It seems to be Elenio's strategy. Just slowly creep away, and I think the other big players up here are just kind of looking at each other, waiting to see who's going to respond, and next thing you know, it's 50, 60, 70 meters. But yeah, that didn't happen today. I thought it was going to go down. Okay, I'm looking at the names here. Look at this, folks. L. Roland couldn't hang on under that hilly stuff. So yeah, it's got to be the L. Roland is a flat rider, high speed, fast rider, because I've seen them be right at the very front all the way. And these hilly stretches puts a real big hit on them. Look at this. Keith Old Git has came up, is moving up, was with Andy Emo before and Grosjean, but Keith's on a mission today. Now, Keith at this point's only 300 meters behind Erlen. This would be a great team up here. Keith's very strong. So we've got, let's say here, we've got 7 riders in the front group. I think it's time for a map view. Okay, so we have 6 riders in the front group. 173 meters back, we go to Erlen. So Erlen was not able to hang on that first climb we did there. Probably just a little bit too high pace for them. Could be a slightly bigger rider compared to the rest. Could have been switching music like I always do on my iPhone and realize I've just lost 100 meters on the group. Seems to be one of my favorite things to do. So we got Erland riding solo at the moment. Keith looking really sharp here, 5 watts per kilo at the moment. Keith's getting down to that, like what I would call like ultra lightweight climber type range from what I'm seeing here in the numbers. So Keith is, I was going to say by themselves, but we've only got Andy Emo 30 meters back with Grosjean and L. Roland. They're all there together. Let's have a little peek here. So if L. Roland can get with this group, yeah, this would be a really strong group here to get into, folks. These 4 need to freight train this. Or Going on the Night Train. You know that song, right? Guns N' Roses. Yeah. Yeah, oh, what a great concert that was. It just makes me flash back right now. A lot of fist pumping there too. So yeah, we got a nice solid group of 4 here. So the only person, so Erland's just hung out in no man's land. 250 meters to Elenio, 200 meters back to Keith. I would not be surprised if Erland is letting themselves drift back here. I mean, it has to be. Pretty low power output at this moment. I think they're letting themselves drift to get into the freight train that's coming up from behind, the 4 strong riders that are coming up. Let's have a little peek back, folks. Here, what we're going to do, we're going to have a peek to the front quickly. Make sure everything's still cool here. Everything still looks the same as before. We should have 6 riders up front. Everyone just marking each other. A little bit of downhill here. Everyone's recovering at this point. This will give me a chance to take a further zip back and see what's going on back here. Bergholtz, Jay Kinsey, RMM12. Some of these names are brand new to me. Again, awesome to see. The more we can grow racing for Muckers, for all these groups, the better it is for Rouvy overall, for all the teams, all the groups out there. Chris 81 Tornado. Nice job, Chris. We got Zoltan still out there. Just trying to get to the back here, folks. Jay Fonseca. So we have lost a few riders. I believe I said 89 started. And when I see this gap here to Jay Fonseca, this rider started extremely late. You can just tell. I mean, the distance back here with how they're riding, they just started this extremely late. So, Jay, you're doing great. Good to see you out there. I'll check up on you in a little bit. Moving back up, we got Zoltan. We got TB Ribby. I'm just going to kind of bounce 3-4 riders at a time. Here's Chorus. Haven't seen Chorus yet today. Great job. New name to me. File. Not sure how you say that. This name I'm going to struggle with. We got KP. Oh, okay. Now that I kind of look at it, I almost have to like sound them out. I was going to make this sound really crazy. It's KP Yoga Cyclist 62. That's pretty straightforward. KP Yoga Cyclist 62. Okay. Nice to meet you, KP. El Rodriguez. I have trouble saying that. Hey, here's Dolph. Dolph rode with Neil at the Wollonga race. 2-3-2 strategy. I liked it. I don't think they stuck to that strategy all the time. Steven's back here too. You know, I think even though this is the championship race day, I think a lot of groups get formed. Hey, we're going to ride like this today. And I know exactly what that's all about. Sometimes you get suckered into doing races you don't want to do, and you just want to take it easy once in a while, right? Here's Jeff, looking strong. Jeff's in 68th place right now. Riding with Dolph. A lot of muckers here. Lexa, new name to me. Great job, Lexa. Tord Munter, I've seen Tord before. Muddy PM 27. T1NS, I've seen this name before as well. Yeah, like old friends now. Great to be here hanging out with you folks. So, yeah, it's the majority. I can't believe how committed everyone is here. Here's a name. J Novak 74. Looks like a new rider to me. Pretty low level. Doesn't mean anything bad if I'm saying you're a low level. It just means you're probably very new to Rouvy, and it's really good to have you here. J Novak is just cruising ahead of Raffo at the time. Yeah, and I apologize too. I like to make nicknames for everyone just to make my life a little bit easier here. So it's probably always going to be Raffo from now on. Thanks, Raffo. Muckers right here as well. So yeah, again, apologize for missing all the last races. It's something I didn't want to do, but just, hey, you got this appointment at 11 o'clock, so I'm out the door. I don't get back till 1. I miss all of it. Koloski doing another great job here. I think Koloski's doing the con the whole way. I believe so. Got El Tractor. Okay, I think it's time to head back to the front. Yeah, oh yeah, I see his name here again. Here's Ratim again. Yeah, so back to Ratim. Yeah, super great ride yesterday by Ratim. I got dropped on the climb. That Czech Stage 5 one, I think it's only 21 kilometers with like 330 meters of climbing. The first half is all downhill. And then the second half is all uphill, but it's not like you're climbing a mountain, but it's rolly stuff like this. It kind of rolls up, and you're constantly climbing. I don't like that stuff. It's really hard. Again, I'd rather just settle into a nice ground. Give me a Mount Lemmon 40-kilometer climb, 5% all the way. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. But, you know, I've been thinking about Mount Lemmon again recently because I did it just a couple months back, and it really beat me up. Way more than the first time I did it. The routes are slightly different. There's 2 routes on Rouvy. I believe they're both AR. Almost positive about that. Could be wrong. One route I think is 35 kilometers long. The other one's like 40 or 41 with barely any more climbing. Like barely any more climbing. And the thing is too is that the additional distance on the longer route, it's mostly downhill. Well, when I did the second Mount Lemmon ascent, I think it took me like an extra half hour to go 5 more kilometers downhill. I'm like, I mean, I know I got off my bike. I got off my bike several times, but I was like just doing everything I could, willing myself to get back on and keep going. So I got a little bit of a mission on that one. I might even set it up as a ride some other people can do with me, encourage me. I can encourage them to do it. But yeah, I'd rather do stuff like that. Some of this roly-poly stuff, like where you're up, climbing, pushing hard, off the power, rolling downhill, back on, back off. Ooh, it's not my style. I'm not saying I'm an all-out climber either. I just would rather just sit and grind at one speed. Yeah, fascinating watching these guys. Okay, so we're starting to get back into that rolly stuff again. That might make a bit of a difference, but I don't think anything is really going to hit off here yet. Coming up to the banner here. Looks like a bit of a Red Bull banner. And the Rouvy signs, Rouvy water bottles. I thought this might happen. I'm like, is Alenio going to test them here? Look at Alenio now. Alenio's just seeing who's got what left in their legs, I believe. This is Alenio's hunting grounds right here. This one's not going to take off. This is just the appetizer to what's coming up. Everyone's marking them. And they know Alenio's done this before. Is the next climb enough to allow Alenio to walk away? I mean, these are all really strong riders here. Carol Susick at the back, pushing 7 watts per kilo. I'm going to go with map view because I can see Keith coming up quick. So here's our leading group here. We're on Carol right now. So we've got a group of 6 at the front. We've got Alenio 79, Gil, Bear Remy, Carol, Hinsbergen, and Luca. Really good to see Hinsbergen up here. I hope they can hold on to this group. I know when it gets steep, it's not Hinsbergen's terrain of choice. But right there with the hitters today. Nice job. And then you see this blob here. Little orange and a bit of, orange and purpley colors here. This is Keith, Erland, and L. Roland, Andy Emo all together. Right here in this group here. So, great group working together there. Oh, Grosjean's there as well. That's right. So, this is a nice strong group. We got like 4 riders here, and Keith's off the front again. Is he on some... Look at him. He's trying to bridge... We got to get on Keith right now. Keith messaged me a few times on my YouTube channel, so I feel like I know him really well, which I don't. I think Keith lives in Spain. I think he might have said France too, like... or maybe some of the other friends are there, but very active cyclist, obviously. I guess he's having a really good day today. I wonder if we can see him. So this is Grosjean's view. Up in the distance, you can see Keith. So is Grosjean trying to pull him back here? It'd be great if these guys could all stick together. But, you know, this is championship race series stuff, right? And so this is a point series. So if you're feeling really strong one day and you can get some good points over people that you generally compete against, you got to take those points when you can get them, right? So Keith is 85 meters ahead. Like, can Keith stay away from these 4? I would say I'd be hard-pressed to do that. But Keith is unrelenting right now. Great job, Keith. Going to move back a little bit here. So here's Erland. Next group back is Stefan Schmidt and Rubberburn Mark. Rubberburn Mark, again, rode really well last time I covered them. Like, really well. I believe that was Wollonga. Yeah, I'd have to check the stats on that. Then it's a good 500 meters back to Niels Burnham, who's with Rocket Roy. Another couple hundred meters back, we're at Grepp and Tom. So we got the 2 muckers here side by side. We've also got Kay Johansson here. Oh, it's another mucker. Grepp with them. So we got 4 riders here together. Tranberg's there as well. Yeah, this is a good little group here. Bouncing back, we're at Denny 44. I mean, take a look here. Denny's here with Sfar just behind them, and there's a group just up front. Denny's going to try to bridge back on here, folks. Denny's probably just getting the initial starts of the draft from Grep. So Denny's pulled himself back. Great job. Got Sfard. Peter Old Git here. Yeah, this might all come back together. Here's Reki. I love saying that name. Kochi? Koki? Maybe something like that. This looks like... Is this a female rider? It's hard to tell from here. I thought I saw a ponytail for a second. Okay, we're going to head up front because we know the fireworks are about to go off, folks. And I don't want to miss it. And it looks like it's already just starting now. Take a look at this here. We've already got gaps forming. So my guess is Elenio started pushing his 6.5, 7 watts per kilo stuff. Gil Matteo was the only one that could react. So here's Gil with them. And then others have been tailed off a little bit. We got Luca. We got Carol. Bear Remy. And Hinsbergen. I mean, the fact that Elenio can just slowly creep away from them. So Gil Matteo is going to pull up, probably end up right on Elenio's shoulder and just sit right there and say, yeah, I'm here. I'm still with you. When it comes to the sprint, I got your number. I think that's what Gil's thinking right now. Let's see what happens, folks. Is Elenio going to try to push away? I think that might be Elenio's option. That's about the only thing he can do because I think Gil has got the big sprint. Now, it is only 50 to 60 meters back to 4 very strong riders. Interesting further back. I don't want to jump away from this. I don't want to miss anything. I wonder if Gil's just going to mark Elenio all the way up this hill. I mean, look at the power they're pushing right now. 6.5 to 7 watts per kilo all the way up this thing. Great cyclist. Is Elenio making another move here? It looks like they are. Elenio's pushing extremely hard, just putting a little tiny bit of a gap into Gil. Come on, Gil. Get back in there. Yep. He's got to put some power on, slowly make his way back. It's amazing how the gaps can just slowly start and then they just open up. Like, look at these two. Since I last talked about the group behind, they pulled out 25 meters on them. And that might even fragment more. Because all these riders back here, I mean, they're close together, but there's a bit of a gap here. From Luca back to Bear Remy. This could, if you're having a rough time, you could blow up at any point here. Kirill Susik. Hinsbergen's just creeping off the back here. Hinsbergen just has to hold on for a little bit longer. We're out of the steepest stuff. We're more on the false flat, which is probably going to favor Hinsbergen now. I think Hinsbergen likes to put out the higher absolute value power numbers and can now slowly push forward again into that perfect 3 to 4% false flat where you can really push hard against your pedals. But it's not climbing really. It's just a slow, steady, gradual climb. But you don't need to be a hill climber to do it. Take a look here though. Bear Remy and Luca have pulled away from Carroll and Hinsbergen. That just slowly unfolded before my eyes as I was watching these two. Okay, let's get back to the front here. We got Elenio 79 with Gil. So Elenio did not break Gil there. Gil's hanging strong. And I don't think Elenio can get away now. Not from Gil. Not from what I've seen over the past, how many races I've been doing here. I would expect Gil to have the big sprint for the finish. And the finish looks like it's slightly barely downhill. So it should be a very high-speed finish. We got all this false stuff into the finish. So 130 meters back to Bear Remy and Luca. Can they work together to bring them back? Do they want to work together? We'll soon see. Another 50 meters back to Carroll. Now, there is a bit of a downhill blast here, so put some power out. Maybe you got some weight on your side. You can get back on. Hinsbergen hanging really, really good today. Really good. I like this. We're going back to Keith, who's now being pursued by Erland and Grosjean, L. Rowland, Andy Emo. Wow, this is really good to see. So before, Keith had about 85 meters on them. And now, we're down a little bit, but not much. So Keith's going to be over the top of the hill right away here and should be able to pull out a tiny bit of a gap on them. Yeah, impressive ride by Keith here. Really looking strong today. Pop back to Grosjean in the light blue Muckers jersey here with Erland. They know they got to get after Keith now. L. Roland. Rubberburn Mark is further back at 220 meters. Okay, so kind of feel good with what's going on at the front here. Let's have one last quick look. Everything looks consolidated now. We got Gil and Elenio together. They do have a 130 meter gap over the following two. They're on the same little straightaway here. Any closer, you'll start seeing the avatars pop up. I wonder if they're just going to push some big power at the front to keep them away. Just have a 2-up sprint at the finish. Popping back again. Okay, so Carroll and Hinsbergen can see the two ahead of them. Can they get on? Let's have a little peek at the back here, folks. So here is Chris 81 Tornado. I think that might be our final rider on course. I just need to look back because Jay Fonseca did break down. They've disconnected. That was our rider that started really, really late. So it's too bad they couldn't keep going. Anything could happen to their bike. Flat tires, nature brakes. Dog ran out in the middle of the road and wiped them out. They got stood there by the side of the road. Teammate pulled up. He's 5'2", you're 6'2". How can you ride his bike? It's not going to work. Let's get back up the field here, TB Ruby. And I just had something pop into my head here. Who remembers that race? It might have been a Tour Down Under. It had to have been Aussies doing this because they're the only people that would probably do this. Who remembers that race where a rider from an opposing team gave his wheel to a person that had a flat tire? I remember it was through a roundabout, traffic circle, whatever you want to call them. And the rider was stranded there by themselves. And he saw a buddy of his. Obviously, they probably rode together in the juniors and the lower levels of cycling in Australia. They both made it to the big leagues, to the World Tour. And yeah, he gave him his wheel. Just kind of blew my mind. I think they both got penalized for it later. Which is he's just being a bro. Right? Oh, Dave, 1969, looks like he's having troubles out there. Looks like I'm not sure if he's disconnected or just off the bike. Yeah, he's disconnected, I believe. Probably like me, he's probably waiting on his washer-dryer delivery and had to step out of his race. Here's a name I thought I would never be able to say, KP Yoga Cyclist 62. Sounds so easy now. Now that I sound it out. Got Dolph and Steven just ahead. Great group here. OG. Who is OG? Have I seen this rider before? I'm not really sure. So yeah, if you remember that race, throw a comment below if you can tell me what stage of I'm positive it was the Tour Down Under. Unbelievable that he would hand him his wheel. And then I swear he gave him a push too. They must have been such good friends to do that. But it's like anytime it amazes me in cycling, when I'll see two riders from an opposing team. Sorry, I can't say that out loud right now. They'll hand a water bottle to each other. And it looks kind of weird sometimes because you can see the other rider doesn't really want to drink out of it sometimes. I mean, yeah, I kind of have the heebie-jeebies too, drinking out of someone's other water bottle. Sometimes they'll just blast a quick sip and maybe soak themselves down. I've seen riders give each other food. Opposite teams. The really cool thing is when you see a director, a DS, a director sportif, off a team, and their car may be nearby, and the other rider's car is way back behind the peloton, squished, behind another 30 vehicles, and they'll hand them a bottle out of the blue. It's just total sportsmanship. And that's what sets cycling apart for me, is just the little things like that. Maybe they know each other, maybe they don't. You got to realize too, like these cyclists, they spend hours and hours and hours together on the road. It's, I guess, if you were to think like a football game or soccer, whatever you want to call it, American football, hockey, you train with your teammates and then you meet up and you play for like an hour, football, 4 15-minute quarters, American football or Canadian football, soccer slash the real football. I'm using air quotes a lot here. What is that, 2 45 minutes? I believe so. I don't really watch a lot of it. I think basketball is 4 15 minutes. Hockey's 3 20-minute periods. So you're there for an hour. Competing against each other, being on the same field, court, ice, pitch, turf, whatever you want to call it, as them. Whereas these cyclists, they're milling around each other for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. And if it's a stage race, it's every day. And then they will see each other before the race at the sign-ins. Their buses are all parked together. They see each other afterwards at the podiums, probably in the same hotels. These guys really know each other. Probably a lot of really good friendships. And so I can see that being very helpful. That's why they're probably passing out bottles to each other. I've actually even seen the, I'm forgetting the name right now, the soigneurs. When they stand on the side of the road to pass bottles out, I've seen them give bottles to other riders on purpose. Especially like on hot days. Let's get back to the action here. Elenio kind of doing a little kick here up these little bumps, these little rollers, and is able to like get a little bit of a dig into Gil Mateo here. He's going to push too hard here. Gil is very, very strong. So we're now, see, Elenio kicking hard again, 8.5 watts per kilo at this point. And it really tests Gil. Gil slowly drifts back. Elenio can seem to, like, almost, on the fly, just put a dent into Gil Mateo. Gil reacts. Just a little bit slower twitch muscle. That's how I'm going to describe it. I have no idea. Takes Gil a little bit to wind up, I guess. Maybe a bit more of a diesel-y type rider. And whereas Elenio is like, instant turbo, I'm gone type style. So we have the two riders up front. Back to Luca and Bear Remy riding side by side. They're probably sharing bottles right now and telling war stories with each other and, things like that. Back to Carroll and Hinsbergen. They're hanging out together. Motoring right along. Is Keith still... Uh-oh, I don't see Keith now. Oh, check this out. Oh, here's Keith right now. Speak of the devil. Here he is. So, it looks like Erland and El Roland, Andy and Grosjean did manage to bridge up to Keith Oldgit. That makes this really exciting, folks. I was praying for Keith to get away, but it's great to see him in this group with these riders. Wow, Keith's really strong. El Roland's here. A little bit more racy at the end. So we got like, looks like, I think we have 5 riders here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have 5 riders here together. This just makes for fun sprint finishes. Grosjean pushing in a little kick here. Look at this. I think everyone's trying to take any advantage they can get over these rollers and catch others out sleeping. You'd be catching me out because I'm that person. Sorry, mouse pointer's right in the middle of the screen here. Yeah, I love this. Okay, so we've got that group there. Then we need to just jump back a tiny bit to Rubberburn Mark. Again, I think I said earlier, Rubberburn Mark, no man's land today, just riding totally solo. Couldn't bridge up to Roland. And then we got Stefan Schmidt, Rocket Roy, Niels Burnham, like another 500-600 meters back. So Rubberburn Mark here is probably riding solo all the way today. And, with only 6 kilometers to go, it's probably going to stand still like that. I did say earlier, I think the race would be done in about an hour. It looks like we might be right on schedule for that. If we go back to the front here, let's see. We're only 4 kilometers from the finish for Gil Mateo. Oh, and take a look at this, folks. Gil Mateo has put a hit into Elenio 79. Is Elenio going to come back here? Looks like he's got some momentum to pull him back. Gil's pushing hard, though. Elenio's probably just at the look at him. He's got to power up now because he's right on the edge of that draft. It's now or never for Elenio to get back into the safety of the draft with Gil. Looks like he's got it. Okay, Elenio totally countered that perfectly, got back in the draft. I think Gil would have pushed there if Elenio hadn't jumped right back on. Look at Elenio just cruises past him, lets completely off the power. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm here. I'm still here. I wonder what his heart rate is right now. Yeah, knowing me, it's probably like 140. These guys are so good. I'm the opposite. My heart rate is just like super high all the time. Resting, I think I've said before, I rest heart rate 56, 57. And if I go all out, I'll be well over 190. Yeah, these two look like they're just playing around here a little bit. Look at this. This is kind of funny. Elenio's like doing 1 watt per kilo here. Gil takes a jump. 11 watts per kilo, folks. Almost 12 watts per kilo. Totally caught Elenio sleeping there. That was absolutely incredible. That was so good. I think Gil was letting him, watching what he was doing, letting him come by. Elenio has to work so hard right now. 10 watts per kilo. Can he pull him back? We're at a 26 meter gap, 25 meter gap. Okay. Oh my. Can Elenio actually pull Gil Matteo back here? It looks like he's done it. Look at the momentum he's carrying. Yeah, he just pulled him back there. Wow. That was incredible to see that go down. Remember what I said earlier about, Gil having the... Is Elenio going to go here? Okay. I was waiting to see Elenio jump him there. Earlier on I said I think Gil had the big sprint, which he does. 100%. But I didn't know that Elenio could drop those kind of watts too. So Elenio there was doing 11, 12 watts per kilo. Maybe just 11 watts per kilo. But, bridge that huge 30-meter gap back onto Gil's wheel. We're only down to 2.37 kilometers here. It's flat now. I mean, there's 1 meter of climbing left. We're not going to even see that on screen. So flat to a little bit of downhill. I think these two are just going to kind of play around here a little bit now. This is what you see a lot at the end of these races. Not these races, like World Tour Pro racing. When you have two out front that have got a bit of a gap, after a while they start playing around. And I mean, not to say that 5 and 6 watts per kilo. Oh, Elenio's giving a dig here. Trying to catch Gil out again. Gil's countering at 10 watts per kilo. Wow, this is so cat and mouse today. It's like they're just playing a series of attacks on each other. Like, okay, we're going to ride friendly and nice to the finish, and we'll let this commentator guy who thinks he knows what he's talking about say some dumb stuff that, we're just chilling out, and then we're going to smash watts. They're doing it to me. Like, again here, for these guys, 3 watts per kilo is really not anywhere near their limits, like, at all. Kind of like, to me, this is being very tactical here at the moment. Who's going to jump at the right time? Gil's launching right now. Gil has just launched. He's putting another dig in. Almost 11 watts per kilo on Elenio. How does Elenio counter this? Okay, so Elenio is slowly powering up again. Gil's got a 20-meter gap. If Elenio pulls this back again, wow. And Gil's, it's a total all-out war now of watts. I think Gil might have just broke him there. I think he did. Gil was able to get back up to 11 watts per kilo, and I think it just kind of put a little dent in Elenio's progress. And Elenio's trying again now. He took a quick breather. He's trying again. He's going to try to pull him back on this downhill. We're out to 36 meters now, the gap. Gil's trying to relax a little bit. Probably trying to get a little bit of energy back, lower the heart rate, get the breathing down in case he has to respond to Elenio's attack. Gil made the perfect response to Elenio's huge rolling attack coming back at him there. When he was cruising at 5-6 watts per kilo, saw Elenio coming, he went right back to 11 again. Look at Elenio slowly cranking it back up here. Yep. Now Gil's going to have to react here. We're down to 400 meters. I think there's probably enough of a gap here now. This is going to be very difficult to pull back. Gil looks steady at 5-6 watts per kilo. Elenio's just trying to pull him back a little bit at a time, but it looks like he's ran out of race course. Here's the banner in the finish at this point. Gil Matteo first place, Elenio second place. Fantastic race, you two. That was incredible. I loved it. So first and second place, Elenio is just going to finish up. We've got Luca getting away from Bear Remy. So you can see Luca just up the road here. Bear Remy following. They're coming to the finishing chute now as well. We round this corner to the right, and you're going to see the banners. Luca gets third, Bear Remy fourth. Karel Susik coming in for fifth place, followed by Hensbergen taking the same corner now. Everyone's just consolidated the positions. Now this is going to be really interesting here. Check this out here. This is fascinating to me here. Andy Emo, who was right at the front of the race today, I even called him out on it, drifted back into that 11th, 12th, 13th position, fought their way back. They all got dropped by Keith, and now Andy is somehow 250 meters ahead of the rest. So Andy's got a really strong finishing kick here. Was just able to turn it up a little bit more than the rest at the finish. So it looks like Andy has a 7th place secure, but check this out. We got Grosjean, L. Rowland, Erland, and Keith. We got 4 riders here for an all-out mano a mano Watts apocalypse coming into the finish. I know L. Rowland likes to drop huge watts. I've seen them drop, 10, 11, 12 watts from like a kilometer out. Did get caught by one Gil Matteo, but very strong rider. Not sure what's in their tank today. And I don't know Erland well enough. I did see him at Wollonga. Okay, looks like L. Rowland might be thinking about something here. Keith, he's like a wily old racer here. He's watching them all very closely. Grosjean's pushing to the front. Who's going to make the first move here, folks? Currently, less than 4 minutes to the finish. The bend is coming up right now. The bend is right here. Now is the time to start thinking about making your move. Powering it up. Keith is winding it up. Almost 7 watts per kilo. Grosjean, Erland just smashes 12 watts per kilo. L. Rowland throwing down some huge watts as well. Looks like Erland's going to take it, I believe, with L. Rowland, Grosjean, and Keith following them up. That was fantastic. I loved it. Here's Rubberman Mark putting some power down, coming to the finish. Rubberman Mark, great ride. You were just solo today. Just found yourself in weird little splits. Going back, that was a fun sprint there with those 4 for, what would that be, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's where some of the best battles are in these rides. I love it so much. Sorry, folks. Rubberman Mark finishing. I don't want to miss anyone here. Stefan Schmidt. And sorry, I keep sniffling a bit. Had a fantastic curry leftover from last night. It's kind of like a late breakfast, early lunch for me. I know all the people in the UK love their curries. Awesome stuff. Wife brought it home for me. I was so lucky. Stefan Schmidt finishing solo here. Just cruising to the finish. It's already starting his cool down. Oh, and then he decides to power up again when I'm about to say that. Great job, Stefan. Got Rocket Roy here with Niels Burnham. Final bend. 5 watts per kilo at the moment. We're going to go on Niels. Niels just drops 10.5 watts per kilo. Just launches right past Rocket. Scoots ahead for 14th. Rocket finishes in 15th. And we're going to pop back to Tom here. Tom Larigier. Cruising along. Looks like Tom's doing a little bit of a solo ride today as well. Pursued by Peter and Denny, Grepp, Tranberg. Oh, yeah, we got some sprint action coming up. We're going to bounce away from Tom. Did an awesome job. He's 300 meters ahead of these 6 riders. Let's bounce back. Have a look at this, folks. Let's have a little map view. You can see them coming to the finish now. This is Peter Oldgate here. We've got the following group of 6 riders ready to battle it out to the finish. We have Denny, Peter, Grepp, Tranberg, Koki, and K. Johansson. I think I said it was Peter before, but Peter is in this group. I forget the rider ahead already. My mind is racing here, folks. Yeah, you can see the turn is coming up directly ahead of us. Power's coming up by everyone here. 6-7 watts per kilo. Watching everyone here. We're 300 meters to the finish at this point. Who is flying here? Keki. Koki coming up at 8 watts per kilo. Denny 44 is out front by himself at this point. Gonna move back to grip here. Yeah, 10 watts. Yeah, this is such a great finish here. Photo finish for sure. I'm sorry I couldn't catch all that, folks, because if I stay right on that very last rider, it throws me into the finish chute. I wish I could change that somehow. It'd be a really cool feature for watching these races, and I could probably do a lot better job covering it. Yaya Reki. Now, I've seen this rider before, and this rider likes to sprint. Not saying it's going to happen today, folks, but I've seen Yaya Reki get pretty racy right at the end. But having said that, the end is right here. Svard takes the first move. Svard is gone. And Yaya Reki today says, that's cool with me. You can have 23rd place. I'm already in cool down mode. I've already got a beer that's opened over on the corner there, and I'll be relaxing pretty quick. Great job, everyone. Liba coming in with Draftman here. Both riding 4 watts per kilo. Strong riders, 70 kilogram riders here. It looks like the power's sitting about the same. I don't think this is going to be a sprint finish here. Got Hal Air not that far behind either with Boogie Bill 70. Yeah, these two are... Nope. Liba's just making sure the Draftman doesn't take it. I'm going to come back. Looks like Celestina J has decided to move past Boogie Bill and Hal Air. Celestina, 7 watts per kilo. Hal Air is countering, though, and so is Boogie Bill. Look at Hal Air come up here, 8 watts per kilo. Will Hal Air get by? Yes, Hal Air pulls it out. That was a good finish there. That was a very good finish there. Hal Air just got past, I think his name is Justina. Yeah, it's already out of my brain. I'm trying to remember all these names. And with Boogie Bill was there. That was three rider sprint there. Hellcat 2020 looks like a solo ride for them today too. Great job, Steve. So we can bounce back to Marshall B here. Marshall B is riding with Oni. Now Marshall B is a new rider to me. I've seen Oni a few times before. Andy Up is only 120 meters behind them, but I think they're just far enough ahead. Won't be caught. So we're already pushing 5 to 6 watts a kilo here, these two. Someone wants this. Someone wants this real bad. Marshall B wants this. So does Oni, though. Oni over 7.5 watts per kilo. The sprint has begun. And that's the way it's going to finish, 31 and 32nd. They just kind of maintained their positions. No one was really going to fight that hard. Andy's just cruising, heading home. Good job, Andy. Good to see you. Yeah, Andy's cruising home. He's got a huge gap to the next rider back, like 600 meters ahead. Salvatore Caruso being pursued by... Okay, this just boggles my mind. Like, how did I not see this driver? Traver DK cruising up behind Salvatore. So I haven't seen this rider all day today. I mean, I know I bounce around a lot, but you'd think I've seen them. 30-meter gap. Can they pull him back? Caruso's starting to, notice him. 5 watts per kilo, but Traver's carrying a lot of momentum here and is cruising right back up on his rear wheel. We're still 150 meters out, but looks like he's going to hold it. Yep. Did pull back quite a bit of distance on him. Caruso's making sure he's not getting by. Traver's still trying, though. Still trying all the way to the finish. Nice job. HJ 2010 coming in. Here's Sylvia. Sylvia's out there. Just recently, I think it was a couple races ago, we had her son, the name Olaf. Olaf DG was in one of her races. Young guy. So great to see mom getting her son out racing. I know she left a comment for me, which I think I replied to, but it never got posted, so it's been driving me insane if she saw my message or not. Great job, Sylvia. Squalo del Alpi, another mucker. 2 muckers coming in. Then we've got Slyfly. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I think Ratim just finished too. Sorry, folks. Oh, I get caught in this loop of... this is what happens. Okay, so we've got a rider head. Okay, so let's stay on Kin Kwan. They start finishing, and then I get trapped in that finish chute. Kin Kwan moving along nice. 43rd position. I'm going to finish alone. Got Nakan out there. Nakan's making a move on A-Wool here. A-Wool's countering, though. These two might get racy. We might have a sprint for 44th and 45th place. After that, we're going back to Igor B, 150 meters back. We got Skripnik, only 300 meters back, riding with Kolovsky. Oh, just ahead of Kolovsky, actually. So what's going to happen with these two? 4 meters apart. Nakan's going early. A-Wool's countering with 8 watts per kilo here. Look at A-Wool come over his right shoulder. A-Wool is not messing around. Just put in a withering sprint there. Nakan just cruising now. Great job. Awesome finishes, folks. Awesome finishes. I really like to shout these finishes out because it's pretty impressive to see people race this hard, this far back. Your ride's over. I would just be absolutely just cruising to the finish at this point. Yeah, I do it all the time. Here's Kolovsky just behind Skripnik. Skripnik's finishing up. Kolovsky's coming in. Yep, so here's Kyle finishing. And then we're back to NMS 007. Riding solo. Further back, another 700 meters to Hannibal von Tonnes. I love the name. They will finish solo. Chorus and J Novak 74 riding together. Then we're heading back to Harmalio. Wyverns, who today is on a totally different training plan. Just, hanging out, middle of the pack. Nice ride. But yeah, still a really, really strong ride back here. Like, these riders are so strong. Like, such a good group of riders. I saw it yesterday when I was in that Czech Stage 5 race, Letap Czech, whatever it's called, Stage 5. Yeah, Ratim dropped me on that climb. I was gone out the back. I think I went from 8th place down to like 20th or something like that, or 17th. I don't even remember now. I should know, but I just wanted to get through it and then get onto the 30K flat stuff on my quest to become the brevet world champion. I'll probably get to 80 and then quit. You have to do a 60 and 80, I think 100, a 130, and then you kind of get to the first brevet level, I think, which is 160 kilometers. These are just like the trials, like the initiation series. I don't even know if I'll get there. It's hard riding that long. Definitely, I think, you got to be really prepared. Probably change your shorts a lot. Or just ride them different. You got a lot of time to actually ride them. Here comes Wyvern. Wyvern's just coming around Harmalio here. So everyone's just kind of chill now, going to the finish. Oh, here's Neil. Look at Neil. He's like, that's it. I'm putting a sprint in. Sprint finish for Neil. Look at him go. 6 watts per kilo. Flying up. He wants Rouvy Bryan bad. He wants him. Nice job, Neil. I caught your sprint. I caught it. And again, I did it again, folks. Mike P03. I apologize. I haven't seen you all day. Just too much action here to follow. So this is how I get to know a lot of the new people that I haven't seen yet. So Raffo is finishing up ahead. Then we got Mike finishing alone. Muddy PM is riding with Tord Munter. And T1NS and L Tractor. 4 riders here. We could see an interesting sprint. What just happened there? I just saw a huge gap open on L Tractor. Wonder if there's a bit of a lag there. It's quite possible because they were right with them. I had that happen to me yesterday too. On the Czech race. I forget who I was following, a name I don't know. Side by side, my screen froze for like 3 seconds. And I remember because there was a truck coming down the hill towards me as I was climbing. And when it all came back, and I kept pedaling like a madman. And when I came back, that rider was 50 meters ahead of me. I'm like, well, I wonder if that just happened to L Tractor there. Just a lag on your end, and everyone else keeps moving, and you're not. So, sorry about that, L Tractor. We're going to move up to Tord here. Keeping an eye on T1NS. Yeah, see, look at Tord here. He's like, I got to get in now. I got to get in. They got 7-8 meters on me. Tord's just falling out of the draft. It's now or never, Tord. We got T1NS and Muddy PM 27. entering the downhill, revving up, getting ready for a finish. Okay, so there's still a few riders. I see Mick still behind us. This might be pretty chill here, I'm not sure. I'm seeing a lot of green beside their names. Everyone's riding pretty chillax here down the hill. No one's going to kill themselves now. There's always someone that does. Okay, T1NS winding up a little bit of power here maybe. Side by side. Yeah, again, well, yeah, pretty chill. Lots of green. Lots of green. Oh, here we go. T1 just applied a little bit of pressure there. Really wants to get ahead of Muddy. And Muddy's going to let them. I think Muddy's like fine with it. Oh, who is coming? Toward Munter, coming out of nowhere to pip. T1's trying to react. T1 is trying to react, and he did it. That was awesome right there. So, okay, so L Tractor's finishing up ahead. We know L Tractor's from. Here's Mick. Let's focus on the mucker for a second. We got one of the muckers here. That T1NS was going for the finish. Toward Munter came out of nowhere, blew past them, but T1NS had the ability to react and took it right back from him. Like, great counter attack there. Great job by Mick here, cruising into 64th place. We've got Feel coming in. Rodriguez is with, here's another one. It always, Gazino, Dolph Wader. Oh my, we're going to have a bit of a sprint finish here, folks. Jeff 65's here. We can just see Feels up ahead. We got Dolph Wader coming in. Jeff 65. Rodriguez wants to get race here, dropping almost over 10 watts per kilo to pass Dolph. Yeah, people are racing right to the bitter end on these events. Wow. Okay, so there's Otero getting to the finish. OG, take a look at this. OG, we got KP Yoga Cyclist 62 here. Yep, that is a woman's rider with Steven. Everyone going hard here right to the finish. And I haven't seen him today, but I know this name so well. I just saw Stelvio Bound up ahead here. I always see Stelvio Bound, always at the Muckers events. Lexa is not that far out. Lexa is just a kilometer down the road. What else do we got here? We've got TB Ribby and G. Kinsey. Oh, I was going to say G. Kinsey is the final rider on the course, but they are not. It looks like we have Chris 81 Tornado just battling their way up that hill. Can they do it? We will soon see. They're getting through the worst of it. The steepest stuff is just done. Little side note here, folks. I know you like my little side rambles. I just had the funniest thing happen. You might have actually heard it on mic there. So, as I'm busy yammering away here, I had an implant done, a tooth implant on the top left-hand side. So, getting close to having the final fake tooth put in. Well, they put this metal plug in my tooth. It just fell out in the middle of my commentary here, so I just thought you'd all like to know that. I didn't know it was metal, so it's not in my mouth anymore. That's pretty funny, but anyways, the things that happens when you join Inside Cycling World for race coverage of Muckers World Wide. Okay, folks, Lexus finishing up here, TB Ribby, G. Kinsey, everyone's going to finish here. I know that for a fact. So it looks like we're going to have 79 finishers. Another awesome turnout for the Muckers. Let's hope Chris 81 here keeps going. It can feel pretty lonely out here by yourself. I'm only going to cut it short today. We're already at 56 minutes of coverage because I'm going to call my wife who runs the dental office and see what I need to do now. Anyway, folks, I will get a lot more frequent with my races. Again, apologize for missing the last two. And hopefully some of you muckers can join us for our Sunday short race. Sunday morning, February the 11th. It will be, what are we doing this week? I think it's very short. It's only like 5 kilometers, 5.5 kilometers. I believe it's 3.5 kilometers flat and then a 2 kilometer ascent. So we picked this race so that it'll kind of cater to everyone. Instead of having an all-out climbing race that people like me who would rather ride the flats aren't gifted being extremely light or trained to be extremely light. I know it is a lot of hard work to stay light. I'm just not an all-out climber. So this way, what we're hoping is we can get a big freight train of the powerhouses up front to try to escape the little lightweight climbers. If you caught our race last week at Buttertubs, Holly, 1987, she is in our Discord channel, and she is part of the Team GRC. She finished 8th overall out of 50 riders. Like, beat a lot of strong riders that are out there. So I think this week I'll be like time trialing for my life to get away from her. And then she may just blow by me on the uphill. So kind of like the only time I can stay ahead of her is on the flats, but I may not have nothing left in the tank by the time I get to the hill. So we'll soon see. I think it's going to be exciting either way. It's going to be a pretty fun race for everyone. It's short enough that everyone can do it. The hill is not that bad. So if you want to join us, register for it this Sunday, February the 11th. Going to go call the dentist. Great watching, everyone. We'll see you again real soon.